Bonjour les amis, encore Kirby Jambon avec vous autres. On va continuer avec cette idée de preview review pour beginners Louisiana French. Again, I'm going to continue to discuss beginners Louisiana French to do sort of a review of what we've talked about. We've had dozens of videos already recorded in video lessons in beginners Louisiana French. And I'm in a couple of weeks, we're going to go beyond that to a more intermediate level. And but this can serve as a review of that, or just simply a preview for those who just want a quick preview about what's involved in all the videos. And the videos cover the basics of beginning Louisiana French in terms of formats of sentences, how to, greetings, verbs, tenses, different aspects of certain vocabulary, and just basic beginners Louisiana French. Today, I just want to review real quickly the idea of asking questions in Louisiana French. And again, for those who are interested, please look us up on Facebook. We have a Facebook group, Louisiana French Lessons. We also have a chat group if you're interested just to communicate by a chat group as well. Both of those are ways to stay updated. Again, you can subscribe to my channel, and you'll get, and you click the little bell, you'll get updates whenever I put up new videos. I'll also put the links for those new videos in the Facebook groups, so you can stay updated that way as well. And I attach in both the chat group and on Facebook Messenger and in the Facebook group, I attach the documents that I've used. And I'm just going to review quickly those documents just to making sure it's clear, maybe hopefully might just to remind ourselves of those of us who have been following along with all of the lessons. And again, I thank you so much for that. To ask questions in Louisiana French again as well, we basically, for example, if it's a yes or no answer you're looking for, we're basically not going to use the traditional French inversion like in Parlez-vous français. We won't invert ourselves. Or in English, for example, are you coming? In that sense, where you invert the subject and the verb. We don't use that very often in Louisiana French. Instead of saying "Are you coming?" we would say "You are coming" with a rising. You're coming with a rising intonation, and you do that in Louisiana French. Tu connais cet homme? Tu connais cet homme? You know this man? Tu connais cet homme? You would hear that kind of thing. You would write "Tam du gombo." Tam du gombo, you like gumbo, tam du gombo, with that rising intonation. It's just saying you like gumbo, but with that rising intonation. You can add the word esque, and it's found at times, esque. Many times the esque just becomes ske. Ske tu connais cet homme, là? Ske tu connais cet homme? Do you know this man? Ske tam le gombo, huh? Tam le gombo? Tam le gombo? Ske tam le gombo. You can have those little ske there, add those to it as well. And that's esque. And esque is that Louisiana, and again, an international French term. It signals there's a question. And we do use more the esque or just the ske in other ways with other types of questions. One of the basic differences you're going to hear with, for example, for where in Louisiana French, where internationally is more just ou, but in Louisiana French you're going to hear ou or ayu or au. You're going to hear those kind of things before. And the ske is found often. Ayu ske t'es parti? Where are you off to, man? Ayu tu vas? Ayu tu vas? So you're going to hear that kind of terms. The what, in about 2/3 of the regions of the state, what is used to ask a what in a question. We would typically say quoi. Internationally, more often you would say qu'est-ce que to ask what is it or what's that. In about 2/3 of the state, you're going to say quoi or quoique. Quoi c'est ça, quoique c'est ça. In about 1/3 of the state, like for example, in the southeastern parts of the state, parts of Evangeline Parish along the Bayou Teche, you'll hear things like Voiles Parish as well. You hear things with qui, like qui c'est que ça, qui c'est ça, qu'est-ce. You hear the qui. Now the qui is also the word we use for who. So in those regions, they would use very often the word for who and what are the same. But you pretty much understand which one you're using in that. For example, if I want to ask you qui tu veux manger, I'm not saying you're a cannibal. I'm not asking you who do you want to eat. I'm asking you what you want to eat. So in those regions as well. Okay, so you'll hear the qui there. Qui is also a very versatile word in international French as well, because qui not only means who, but qui is used in all kind of clauses, in the sense that it means that or whom or what. For example, the one that's coming, in that sense, that sentence. For example, in the sentence, lui qui arrive, him, him that's coming, he that's coming. The word for that is qui as well. So qui is very versatile. So you're going to hear qui used a lot. Qui ski, like so. Qui ski is like who is it that qui ski va payer? Like at the end of when you're all going out to eat, and I might ask, qui ski va payer? Who is it that's going to pay? And so you have that with qui. How is comment? Comment is the same as international French. Comment, and you can say comment ce, which is that kind of esque pronunciation. We do have the same pourquoi as international French, but we also have another form that's very unique to Louisiana French, where we say coiffeur. Coiffeur. Coiffeur looks like coiffeur, but it's actually more pronounced coiffeur. Coiffeur. And it's found in Louisiana French, Louisiana Creole, coiffeur. Combien is the same as international French for how much or how many. Combien. When it's followed by a noun, you're going to need the word de. Combien de fois, combien d'argent. Sometimes the B is not pronounced in certain regions. It might just sound like combien. And then quand is typically et quand. More often than it's just quand. That's the word for when. More often et quand. Et quand tu viens? When are you coming? Things like that. And then quel is often the L can be often dropped before a consonant. So, you might hear, you'll hear it in quelle heure because heure begins with the vowel sound. Quelle heure, like in what time is it? And quel is which or what when what is in front of a noun. So, like in quelle heure il est. Mais quelle qualité de crème tu veux? Quelle qualité de crème tu veux? What kind of ice cream do you want? Or which kind of ice cream do you want? So it's that sense. To talk about which one, you would say équel, équel, like équel tu veux, like which one of these do you want? Internationally, you would have to specify that by either gender, like lequel, laquelle, or lesquels for its plural. For us, we would simply just say équel in that sense, okay? And then with words like ayou and comment and et quand, typically you don't need the verb to be in it. So you can say certain things like comment les enfants is totally correct. You don't need comment sont les enfants, How are the kids? How are the children? You can just say comment les enfants, which is how the kids, in a sense, You can do that as well. So that's a little bit about the question words. Talk a little bit about time words in Louisiana French. When we talk about time in Louisiana French, we are going to, it's similar to international French in a lot of ways, and there are a few differences, okay? For example, one of the things I want to talk about is that with time words, we don't use the typical 24-hour time very often in Louisiana French associated with, that you see more formally internationally. You'll see things, if you go to France, you're going to see things like 13 heures and 19 heures, for 1 o'clock, or 7 o'clock in the evening. You'll see these kind of terms. In French, there is no such thing as AM or PM in any variety of French. Internationally, to more often than not, especially when it's written, you're going to see it written in a 24-hour time period. So that 7 o'clock in the evening is actually written as 19 heures, 19 o'clock in a sense. In Louisiana, we typically would simply say, if it's in the morning, le matin, in the afternoon, l'après-midi, or in the evening, le soir. So, so if it's 7 o'clock in the morning, 7 heures le matin. 7 o'clock in the evening, 7 heures le soir. And that kind of thing you would do there. And the other, one of the things you do find in international French, and just as in Louisiana French, you will have the word to say the 30 minutes past, which we normally say like 3:30, 2:30, 4:30, things like that. In Louisiana French, you would do it et demi, we typically pronounce just et demi. Like for example, il est 4h30. 4h30, you would have that et demi. You can hear sometimes the quart as well. Quart is the word for quarter. So like 2h15 is 2:15, 2 and a quarter, kind of sound that. And another thing you might have is that the time right before the hour, often you can hear in international, we use the term moins, which means minus or less, like so il est 8h moins 5, that would be 7:55. You can say it that way. Or you can say it a common way in Louisiana French, il est 5 minutes pour 8h. Or 5 minutes avant 8 heures, which would mean 5 minutes before 5 minutes in order to make 8 o'clock, that kind of way. A couple of words associated with time words as well that are cool, like à 7 heures, à 7 heures. And that's a very important word that we use here in Louisiana French. It's found in Canada as well, in other parts of the world. À 7 heures, that's the word we use for right now, not maintenant. One word we use for meaning in a little while, tout à l'heure, which comes from tout à l'heure more internationally. Dans un moment, in a moment, dans un petit élan, in a little while, things like that. Internationally, for soon, they would say more often bientôt, but we would either say bientôt or bien vite. Bien vite or bientôt, you'd hear more often than not. One of the things we have in Louisiana French is that we use very often for the word prochain, which means next, which we do use, but we sometimes will use the word qui vient, which would mean coming. So I can say la semaine prochaine for next week, or I can say la semaine qui vient for next week. All right, le mois prochain or le mois qui vient. So you have those kind of terms. Tout à l'heure is that I just mentioned that before. Tout à l'heure. Tout à l'heure, again, internationally can mean in a little while or a little while ago. Can mean has both meanings. And the same thing in Louisiana French, but we simply just pronounce it tout à l'heure. Tout à l'heure. One expression that we use for early was very Louisiana French, and it's found in a couple other regions in the world as well. And that's the word bonheur. Bonheur. Rather than say tôt for early in the morning, say bien tôt dans le matin, we wouldn't say that. We would say more often, il est bien bonheur. You know, it's bien bonheur. So plus bonheur aujourd'hui would be earlier today. You know? Pretty much we follow a lot of the different, for example, dealing with possessives, we follow the same possessive rules. Possessions in French normally follow the gender or the whether the word is being possessed is singular or plural. So you'll have the mon mamé, ton tate, son sase, the same as international French. All right. So you know, so you would have like mon pied, my foot, ma main, my hand. La main is the hand, le pied, the foot, kind of things like that. And so the only thing that's kind of different sometimes is with the plurals. You'll hear things like internationally, you hear, for example, votre ami, that's your friend, like y'all, a group of people, it's your friend. And we would say votre ami as well, but we might also, we might drop, you know, with the plural, we'd say vos amis, your friends, but you would hear votre amis sometimes in Louisiana French as well. So sometimes a little different there. So again, there's another video dealing with questions there. We're just doing kind of a quick review today. Most of the members of the family are very similar to international French as well. Probably the only the few basic differences, we don't, for example, for spouses, I mean, we don't typically use the those international terms like époux and épouse or conjoint, conjointe, which describe your spouses. We simply would use the traditional old French terms, like the word for a husband is a mari, and the word for a wife is a femme. A femme is the same word as woman. We typically use those as well. A little interesting word about Louisiana French, we do some of the same terms like godparents. You have parrain and marraine. You still have those terms, parrain and marraine. But we also, for godmother, we also have another old French term that we use called nénande. Like in my family, when I was referring to my godmother, I would call her ma marraine. But when I was speaking to her directly, I would call her nénande. Nénande. All right. One of the things that might be a little different in Louisiana French as well. In international French, we the word for stepfamily and your in-laws, you pretty much say most of those terms vary the same. So that in beau-père can be a father-in-law or a stepfather. In Louisiana French, a lot of times we'll use beau-père for your father-in-law, but sometimes we'll simply use the English term to distinguish between, you know, we'll say your stepfather rather than your, in English. We'll use the English term as well. And we typically talk about on a parenté de sur le bord, okay? We're related on certain sides of the family, okay? You can say on a parent or parenté for being related. Sur le bord de mon père or sur le bord de ma mère. You know, we're related on my father's side, related on my mother's side. We do that a lot. A little interesting thing about Louisiana French too is that talk about the verb to go. Now, verb to go is a very important verb because the verb to go is used in the future tense for most what we call the futur proche, and in the future tense we use the verb to go. There is no word will, like in English you would say I will, but if you think about it in English, we do use the word to go for future as well. I am going to the store, you know, I'm in the future, you know. I'm going to go to the store, I'm going to go dancing, in a sense like that. And we do that in French, and it's pronounced most of the time as va. The verb aller becomes pronounced va. It's aller with the vous of the polite vous. But we also use the verb partir, which means to leave. But sometimes when we use partir, it also can mean I'm off. I'm headed that way. You know, it kind of means kind of that way, more than a past tense. It sounds like it's past tense, but it's almost like future tense in a way as well. So you can say, you know, I can say, tu vas à l'école. You're going to school. Tu vas à l'école. you can, or I can say, for example, you know, il est parti à l'école. You know, he's on his way to school. You know, so you have that kind of thing there as well. Alrighty, so this is just like kind of a quick kind of like preview of some of the basic ways we ask questions and a few different verbs in Louisiana French. Please, you know, check us out on the other videos. Check out the other videos. There are many videos. I mean, there's dozens and dozens of videos in Beginners Louisiana French. Please let me know, what do you need to know more. You can, I do, you know, make a comment. I will, I try to respond to comments. If you do have a question about something, you can comment on join our chat groups as well, and we can continue with these lessons as the weeks go on throughout the summer until I get much busier when the school year starts. Hopefully again. So again, thank you so much for supporting us. I really appreciate it. Please subscribe to the channel and continue to get updated, and check out some of the other information I do have on the channel. Hopefully you'll continue to enjoy it, and hopefully I continue to get better at making videos. Something I want to do. Okay, well, just until our next time, s'il vous plaît les amis, soignez-vous autres et soignez les autres. Take care of yourselves, take care of each other. Okay, au revoir.